What happened with that picture you sent me? What's the story about that?
Well, that is, I think, there's the picture that I sent you, Dave. Let's see if I can.
And I'll put that on the video too.
There's that picture that I sent you. I don't know whether we can get a picture of it or not.
Look at
I
that.
can send you the picture
Look
anyway.
at that. Gorgeous. Look at that. 10-pointer.
Yep.
With the neck like a wrestler, right?
Yeah,
I mean,
yeah. Well, and even that one right there, Dave. He's actually looking up towards where that stump is.
oh yeah.
He's kind of looking. He's looking right up in that direction.
So
And and
what's the deal? The interesting part is that you might have seen him following some other deer, this bit's a little more interesting because he's eating at a place where there's still some greenery, right? So that means he might be coming back again, right?
well, that's the hope. It's funny because I've only got two cameras. I've actually got three cameras out. I've got one down by the pond,
Yeah,
and I've got one down by the ground blind. And then about 3 days ago, I put this camera in.
yeah,
The reason I did was because when I was milling around down in there, I found a patch of green. It still was all green, and I just wondered whether or not any deer were feeding on any of that.
yeah,
And so the irony is, at 4:13 in the morning, I have video of, I'm pretty sure it was this buck right behind a doe,
yeah,
and there were like 3 or 4, maybe even 5 more deer that had come through at like 4:13 in the morning
yeah. And that was by the pond, right?
down by the pond.
Yeah,
So I hung around till Wendell got to my house with that load of wood, which means I didn't get started down into the woods till like 10 o'clock, something like that. And I
yeah,
went in the direction I had jumped 3 deer, would be 3 deers, 3 days ago, 3 doe deer in behind my next door neighbor's house.
yeah,
So, and I thought, well, maybe that doe that he was behind was either one of the doe deer that I saw, or maybe it was another doe deer that was going to take him back in and lay down where they had been.
yeah,
So, I have a tree stand up down there. That's the one I had so much trouble putting up.
yeah,
The 3 different.
yeah. I remember.
And when I got to it, I got up in it. But then the wind picked up, and the daggone thing was blowing every which way, and I did not have my safety harness on, so I was uncomfortable. So down
Yeah,
out of that I came.
yeah,
And 2 days ago, I had kind of made a little ground spot. There was a stump, and there was a bunch of little beech trees that had the leaves still on them, so it was a real nice little natural blind I could tuck in there, and
yeah,
any motion I think would be hidden by the leaves.
yeah,
So when I left the tree stand, I eased on up to my right instead of going straight ahead, and I sat down on that stump and I started fooling around with that grunt call,
yeah,
and didn't see anything. Nothing came. And so after I'd been there for probably a half an hour, maybe a little more than that, I thought, well, I'll go down and check that camera that
yeah.
I've got down below.
The one you just put in, right?
The one I just put in
Yeah,
like the day before.
yeah,
I got down there and I about crapped my pants when I
yeah.
opened it and looked at it, because that deer had been standing down there browsing while I was sitting on the stump, and I
Man,
just didn't see him. I did the
man.
grunt call, and you can see in the pictures where he's looking up towards where that
Exactly.
stump is, but he's not paying any attention to it.
No,
So it's,
because he's got his num-nums. He's got something to eat too, I guess.
yeah,
Plus, at that size, he probably doesn't have much worries in general, does he?
no.
I mean,
Well, the one picture, I don't know whether you saw it or not, but he's got the hide, not the hide, but some hair has kind of gone off one side, off his right side, back on
ah,
his ribs a little bit, which would be an indication that he's been
tussling.
in a tussle with it. And I showed Don Levitt, my old hunting partner, those pictures. He says, I'd like to see the buck that he tangled with.
Yeah, exactly, exactly. Is he? Yeah, because
Exactly.
that's about as big as it gets right around here. I
Pretty
mean,
much.
yeah,
Pretty much. I mean, I don't know. Well, I guess there's some bigger ones than that, but I certainly would like to get I came very close to getting an eyeball on him yesterday, and I don't
yeah,
know that I'll ever get any closer, but if I do. Ann asked me this morning if I'd kill him. I said I absolutely would kill him. I'd put
yeah,
him on my wall anytime. So,
yeah. Yeah, and he's like we said, he's passed on his DNA many times.
you bet.
So there's other young bucks that are gonna potentially be as big as him too.
Yeah,
So
yeah,
which is
yeah, you
cool.
bet. Well, I was hoping this morning. I got up and went down to make coffee, and I looked out the kitchen window, and there are three doe deer. I think maybe the three that I had jumped a couple days ago
Yeah,
in the front yard feeding on crab apples.
yeah.
So,
And you
and I
passed on that, right? That
yeah,
just seems.
I was
Yeah,
hoping maybe he'd be chugging up across the
exactly.
up across the lawn
Because
after
that
those deer.
testosterone, right?
But
He's being led by his other brain.
not quite so lucky.
Yeah, exactly.
Anyway,
All right, we're gonna go in the woods.
yeah, we'll keep you posted. If I catch up with him, everybody will know about it.
Cool.